Alright everyone, now it's time to talk about Bitcoin and allied themes, of course, crypto in general. A little bit of a theory that I have about what may be currently happening with the crypto world, pegged to the rest of the economy in part, so it could be a double doozy. Keep in mind, of course, disclaimer before I begin, this video is not investment advice. It's not fiscal advice at all. I'm not an economist. In other words, I'm more accurate than someone like Paul Krugman. I'm not involved with business planning, and this is not advice for your portfolio. This is the advice that I look at for my portfolio, and that's all that it is. This video is my opinions. I have to say that before I do anything related to crypto, just like you have to do the disclaimer thing anytime you talk about psychotropics. Hey, I'm not telling you to take this drug. I'm not telling you to break the law and potentially harm yourself. Aren't you surprised? Anyway, there are some people, including some mainline economists right now, investors, people with a lot of crypto, they have skin in the game, saying Bitcoin they expect to go to 100,000 per Bitcoin. That'd be nice for me. I wouldn't have any student loans anymore. By the way, I am still holding on to all of my crypto and very seriously considering acquiring more. I'm still looking for a more long-term stabilization. I think if it starts to crawl up at the rate that I'd be comfortable with, I'd grab some up near bottom, I suppose, some Bitcoin mainly. And that features into my prediction about what's happening now. Others are saying that it'll go to zero. Well, the age of crypto is over. Where have we heard that before, by the way? I noticed something in the last few days, which is that we are mysteriously approximate in the crypto thing, and in some social media to an extent, to the dot-com bubble. We're operating on a similar timeline as far as the number of years prior. It's not outside of the statistical realm of norm there. It's a similar phenomenon. It is true that over the last year, cryptocurrency became overvalued. It's simple. The amount of usage was not keeping pace with the price. It was being speculated. Now it has dropped down below what I would expect to be its long-term curve, which means that after it stabilizes for some time, my expectation is that it goes up again. Now, whether Bitcoin hits 100,000 or just hits its previous high or whether it goes higher, that remains to be seen. But I think that what we're seeing is a compaction. That is, it's like the dot-com bubble bursting. You'll remember that in the dot-com era, well, the youngins among you won't remember this, there was the massive proliferation of private dot-coms. And other services too, search engines and so forth. They exploded across the world. The internet is still new, and people realize how fun it is. And every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants their own website. And some of those websites got massively overvalued. They had a good name. They had good traffic or something because they were novel. They just happened to take hold, and people said, well, the growth will continue forever. And so we're evaluating your site, fuckmyselfintheass.com, as being worth $10 million. And they got speculated up, and people would sell the site, build a site, sell it for 1,000 times more than it's actually worth. And eventually the music stopped and the prices collapsed, and it took a lot of the dot-coms with it. The dot-coms that survive now are worth in many cases much more than they were before due to innovation. Google.com, the value at the time, prior to the dot-com bubble bursting, it was smaller than Yahoo, by the way. At the time, Yahoo was the big search engine for a very long time, for years. I remember using that myself. I remember the first time I was familiarized with Google, it was relatively unimpressive compared to Yahoo and certain others. After the dot-com bubble, Yahoo gets turned into a zombie company. They make a series of mistakes, and that doesn't apply to crypto as much. The mistakes being made thing is more absent in the structure of the way some crypto works. Not all, though. We'll get into that too, don't worry. And Google becomes top dog. Now it's the most valuable site of all. It's parent company, technically Alphabet, but Google is the big slice of the pie and all of its subjugates like YouTube and so forth. That is, what was just a dot-com became much more. I see that in the broader and broader acceptance of cryptocurrency. Banks allowing it for transactions, investors attempting to innovate, to figure out ways to make it more useful as a thing instead of simply it being a meme that's on somebody's USB drive with a Gadsden flag on it. We're already seeing that greater and greater acceptance. I don't think that its price lowering, by the way, stops this. I think it just means that more hesitant individuals might buy in. Right now, though, we also are on the edge of a recession, have other economic problems which are compacting this issue. By the way, this is not similar to the dot-com bubble. That is making it more confusing. People are confusing the lull in crypto and its catastrophic drop as being solely related to crypto and being a bubble. It's also related to the fact that everything else is dropping. It is compounding the situation. That is, again, just my opinion. And you don't think of it as gold. Some people are like, well, it should be going up right now. It's a store of wealth. No. It's a day-to-day transaction. It is a currency. That's what it is. It's something that's becoming more useful over time. It's gaining it. Entire nations have set up mining rigs, etc., etc. Most of the big banks are in it. Many big corporations are in it. It's not just Bitcoin at this point. But if it follows the same basic trajectory as the dot-com bubble bursting did, it doesn't mean that every crypto is created equal. Many of them will die off. All the meme coins and shit coins being effectively nothing more than schemes anyway. They are scams. Don't invest in them. That would be my advice to myself, personally. Meme coins can be fun. The only one I can think of, though, that's likely to have any staying power at all would be Doge, simply because it was one of the early meme coins and it happens to have that niche sort of usage. Again, gaining some acceptance among the billionaire class, possibly because of its massively low denomination. Bitcoin, I think, survives. It has the highest usage, acceptedness, etc. Ethereum, which is similar. Solana would be one that might survive. Monero, because of the privacy thing, although again that's niche, it could still be potentially considered overvalued. Because many people they're not trying to use crypto to hide their transactions. Like, I use Bitcoin, I don't give a shit. I don't care if someone sees some blockchain address sent money to another blockchain address and the government knows I sent, this site $50, because I'm not doing anything that's not particularly mainstream with it. I don't give a shit. But the boomer crowd will not get in to such a coin, potentially. They'll think it's dubious or mysterious, so to speak. And remember, they still have all of the money, so it matters what the boomers do still for a while, unfortunately. Litecoin, maybe not. It's sort of a peg to Bitcoin, silver to gold thing with its own issues. It's not entirely sure. I would say that as various crypto is forked, as innovations are made to make it more efficient, to make it quicker, etc. This is, again, equivalent to what happened during and after the dot-com bubble bursting. Innovation happened because of the pressure and the compacting of sites, gobbling one another up, some becoming defunct. The internet, for a while there had some empty patches. The other ones had less competition, but at the same time there was more competitive urge to innovate, to outcompete in a very, very dangerous situation where your .com could die, or your other service could die. Have you ever used Ask Jeeves? Probably most of you haven't. What about Dogpile? And just think about all the things we could have. Thankfully, most of them suck. So it didn't really matter. There's a reason that most of them died. There's a reason my MySpace died. They made mistakes. That's the other part. In many cases, like with Bitcoin, how are you going to make mistakes? A service that trades in it can make a mistake. Bitcoin in and of itself has already been set up and is continuing to go without any particular intervention. It's just people mining shit and spending shit and saving shit. There's no way for Bitcoin itself to make a mistake. It's not structurally feasible. In such a case, I think that gives it greater stability. What I would say is my expectation is that crypto will continue its lull for some time to come. Could be months, could be over a year. It will then rise back up like a phoenix, and what will have happened is that the shitcoins and stuff will have been purged, including in some cases the people that made them in the first place getting put in prison for pyramid schemes and other frauds and extortion and shit. Those will die off. And all of that added value, because it's clear people wanted to invest in crypto, otherwise they didn't hold that $100 of SHIB or something like that, it potentially gets invested elsewhere, thus making even more demand for something that the whales are still buying up. The price is dropping in part because everything else is dropping. The entire stock market's getting wiped out over recession fears. The Fed is getting involved now to curb inflation, hazarding jobs. They're claiming that at the end of the year, unemployment will only have hit 4.1%. Me thinks you're underestimating that slightly. I think that it will be a little bit higher than that. Stagflation ring a bell? Under such a circumstance, people won't be investing as much. Naturally, cryptocurrency will take a back seat among people that, they have to choose, am I going to do my monthly buy up of Ethereum, my $100 of Ethereum, or am I going to provide Campbell's instead of ramen soup tonight? Well, I think that I'll go with the soup. Necessity will call. But that economic situation won't last forever, and the demand during that meantime could still just grow and grow and grow. It's just being suppressed. That's about all. Peace out.